AI Ogura's departure from Trackhouse Racing at the end of the season was announced in April 2026. Confirmed, signed, done. And then on June 28th, he went to Assen and handed that same team the greatest day in their entire history.
Think about what that actually means. The man who already walked out the door gave them the moment they will talk about forever. That is the raw reality the paddock is not screaming nearly loud enough. The 95th Dutch TT. 26 laps around Assen in conditions that had no business existing. Air at 29 degrees Celsius. Track surface at 55 degrees Celsius, which translates to 131 degrees Fahrenheit. Blistering. The last time Assen cooked like this was 1976, and that race was so savage that the sidecar class winner, Hermann Schmidt, crossed the finish line and immediately needed to be resuscitated from a heart attack on the spot. 50 years between those two heat waves. Same circuit, same punishment. And riders in 2026 were already going down in training sessions before the main event even started. Put Ogura in that picture. A Japanese rookie on a satellite Aprilia up against factory machinery in heat that was physically destroying world-class athletes, riding for a team he had mentally already left.
The weekend action got underway on Friday, and the story built from there. Raul Fernandez, Ogura's own Trackhouse teammate, won the sprint race. Ogura crossed in second. A satellite team won two in the sprint against the factories. That should have been the headline of the entire Dutch round. Every motorsport broadcast on the planet should have been screaming about it. Instead, it became the opening chapter of something far bigger arriving 24 hours later. Sunday. Lights out. Marco Bezzecchi, who entered the weekend as the World Championship leader, the factory Aprilia man, lines up as the points favorite. Jorge Martin, Bezzecchi's factory Aprilia teammate, another serious title threat with everything to gain. And there sits Ogura, the satellite rider with his exit papers already signed, somehow still in the same race as both of them. Who writes that script? Nobody. It just happens. Lap 2. Bezzecchi, turn 15. Gone. Just like that. The championship leader crashes out in the early stages, writes off his race, and walks away from the Netherlands having handed the entire title situation to his rivals. He had arrived at Assen carrying the points lead. He left with nothing. And that single crash reshuffled every calculation in the championship fight from that moment forward. Back on track, Ogura is pushed down to 6th early on, but aggressively fights his way back forward through the first half. And then comes lap 16. Exiting turn 1, Ogura accidentally activates his rear ride height device. His own words in the post-race interview, no ambiguity whatsoever, his own rider error, nobody else's fault. The device engages incorrectly, the rear of the bike drops, and the belly pan starts dragging along the tarmac at race speed. A motorcycle scraping its underbelly on the ground, mid-battle, mid-Assen in 43-degree track heat? He runs wide at turn 4. The race nearly goes with it. Any other rider, on any other weekend in those conditions, probably backs off, manages the damage, takes whatever championship points remain from a reduced finish. Ogura fights the bike back underneath him and keeps pushing. He wins. That is either extraordinary composure or complete stubbornness. It was both. If this championship fight matters to you, subscribe to this channel right now because this title battle gets tighter with every single round, and not one moment of it is getting missed here. The final result? Ogura 1st, Fernandez 2nd, Martin 3rd. A Trackhouse Racing 1-2 for the second day running. Saturday Sprint, Sunday GP. Back-to-back. A satellite team placing their two riders on the top 2 steps of a premier class podium, while the factory operations scrapped for whatever the satellite left behind. How does a team operating below factory level beat the factories twice in the same weekend? Brivio gave the most disarmingly honest answer in motorsport when asked exactly that. His words? "There's nothing we do better than the factory team.
rather than just go out and try to do the best we can. No tactical genius, no secret setup breakthrough, just race. And somehow, that was enough to beat everybody.
Jorge Martin walks out of Assen with 193 championship points. New leader, 7 points clear of Bezzecchi. Martin did not win the race. He did not need to be the fastest rider on the circuit. He needed Bezzecchi to crash, and for Martin himself to still be upright and scoring at the finish, which is exactly what happened. Stay standing. Let the chaos sort out the rest. That is what riding a title campaign looks like when opportunity knocks itself. If this breakdown is hitting different, take a second to hit like, because it genuinely helps more MotoGP fans find this when it matters most. But Martin's position is far from comfortable. 7 points. That gap disappears in a single corner. And sitting 25 points behind him is Ogura, completely on form, who just won in conditions that were breaking other riders at the warm-up stage, who made a mid-race mistake that would have ended lesser drives, and who is somehow still mathematically alive in a title fight, while already committed to leaving his current team. How does a rider in that situation stay mentally locked in? How do you carry that kind of noise into a race and still find something like lap 16 of 26 and push through it? Aprilia CEO Massimo Rivola watched his satellite arm outperform his factory squad while his own championship leader crashed out on the second lap. His response to losing Ogura for 2027? He called it disappointing. Disappointing. After that weekend, after back-to-back podium dominance, after what they built together in 2026, Ogura is widely expected to be heading to Yamaha next season, though Brivio stated plainly that destination announcement belongs to others, not Trackhouse. Wherever Ogura ends up, the team just lost their best asset at the exact moment he reached his ceiling. And this is the part that should genuinely stop every fan cold. Before Ogura's win at Assen, the last time a Japanese rider won in MotoGP's premier class was Makoto Tamada, Motegi, 2004. 22 years. A 22-year void. An entire era of Japanese motorcycle talent racing at the top level, coming agonizingly close and coming up short. Ogura ended that drought in a heatwave that matched 1976 for brutality on a satellite team machine after a self-inflicted technical mistake mid-race, while already being publicly confirmed as leaving the squad at season's end. Nobody engineers that kind of story. It just arrives. Ogura now sits 25 points off the championship lead, with the season very much alive. Martin holds 7 points of breathing room above Bezzecchi. That margin could vanish on a single lap at the next round. This championship has no safe distance between its top contenders, no comfortable leader, no foregone outcome. Every rider within striking range carries either momentum or something heavy to prove. That combination never stays quiet for long. Trackhouse Racing delivered the most dominant satellite team weekend in modern MotoGP history, using a rider who had already told them he was going. That is the triumph. Not a calculated master plan, not the beginning of a dynasty. A satellite operation at their highest peak, squeezing out the most important weekend in their existence, before the door shut behind their best rider forever. The 55-degree heat melted tires and tested bodies. Bezzecchi's crash melted the championship standings. And Ogura's win at the 95th Dutch TT broke a 22-year wall of silence for Japanese premier class racing. All of it in one afternoon at Assen. The hottest Dutch TT in half a century, produced by the team whose own rider announced his departure 2 months before it happened. If that story hit you somewhere real, like and subscribe, because this championship is only building towards something bigger, and this channel will be at every corner of it when it arrives.